Hello, hello. Make sure you share the live. Hello, hello, good evening, good evening. Just gonna wait for more people to join the live. Hopefully you all had a wonderful evening on this Monday. Hello, EJ, welcome, good evening. Hopefully you had a great Monday. Make sure you share the live. It's gonna be a great interview tonight. Well, have a great practice. Hello, good evening. Hopefully you had a great Monday. Make sure you share the live. It's going to be a great interview. Just wait for some more people to come in. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes. Of course. Wait a couple more minutes before we get started here. Hopefully everyone is having a wonderful Monday. It's finally warm over here in Canada, where I live. Hopefully it stays that way. Canada, you can never be too sure. It'll be warm one day and then cold the next day. So you never know. Just gonna wait on a couple more minutes. Hello, Pan Marlin. Welcome, welcome. Make sure you share the live. It's going to be a great interview tonight. Just gonna wait a couple more minutes. Hopefully, Marlon, you had a good night, a good Monday. All right. So, welcome to All Things Pan. I am your host, Danielle George, with our sponsor, Pantastics 868. Make sure you check them out. They have everything from tenor sticks to bass sticks. If you live in North America, make sure you message me. I will try and get them to you a little bit sooner. So, for those that are new to this page, I see we have a few new viewers. We talk to panists, arrangers, tuners, builders, pan enthusiasts. This season, we spoke to, hey Jimmy, we spoke to a few artists, soca artists, DJs, parents of Steelpan players. But tonight, I would like to invite, hold on till she gets in here before I officially introduce her. Hello, the founder of the French Panorama, Wanda Atkins. How are you this evening? Well, for you this morning.
It's this morning. It's already Tuesday for me.
Yes. How are you doing this Tuesday fine morning?
I am excited to be here. So excited to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Of course, of course. You had a good Monday night?
Yes, very active. Very active. Very, very active.
That's good. That's good. So, before we get started, I just want to let you know our viewers will have a chance to ask you some questions if you're okay with that.
Sure,
so you'll be in the hot seat for a few minutes.
Yeah, of course.
You're good with that? Okay.
All for
So we'll
all for pan.
I appreciate that, man. So I'm going to start off easy. Who was Wanda Atkins? How did she get involved in Steelpan?
Who is Wanda Atkins? That's a good question. It's weird speaking about yourself in the third person. Very strange. Very, very strange. Actually, yeah, I'm living in France now. Okay. My family comes from Trinidad and Tobago, so my mother's side of the family. But I've been living in France for about 30 years now. And I started playing pan because my uncle sent me his pan to France, his tenor pan, and he said, go find a group that plays pan in France. I said, what? You're crazy.
Right.
That's basically how it started. Yeah. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you learned playing Steelpan with whatever band you joined at that time?
Well, it was an association that, because I saw a band play in a park and I was like, oh, I gotta join you guys. We have no room. We have to play with someone else. I started with someone else, another association, because it's really associations that do that. It's not like music schools, but where we are anyway, it's associations that are funded by the city that continue musical things and cultural arts and things like that. And that's why I got started, basically.
Okay. So since we're on the subject of pan in France, and you said it was association based, has it always been that way? Is it just...
Well, if you think pan was really brought to France in, I think it's the early 70s, and the family Pierre Lazanier was the first family to actually have a group, not necessarily an association, but a group that played pan. Okay. And then they decided to create an association with other players. And for Nantes, for example, because that's where I live, it was really an association that was created almost 25 years ago.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So how is pan viewed in France right now? Is it accepted? Are you guys still trying to push through some doors? And
well, I think that it's been accepted in certain areas. It depends on where you go, because if you looked at the French Panorama and all that, the map that we scoped out, basically you could see it was basically the west of France. Right. We saw more of it. But people have heard it on the radio and different things. People start to recognize the sound of what pan is like. And for Nantes, a lot of people in Nantes, they know pan. In this region, they do. Yeah.
Right. And you said they're not really teaching it in schools. Are you kind of showcasing it in schools, or how are the kids finding it? Because I saw a couple of bands in your panorama that had a few kids in it. So how is that going with the children in France?
Well, I can only speak for Nantes, but I know in Louverné and Laval, it's they have music schools and associations at the same time. So I mean, you can see just in the video alone, I mean, how many kids were involved in different bands. And I know that in Nantes, there are certain schools where you can actually have steel drum lessons. and they have their own
Okay.
kiddie panorama and things like that. So here it's kind of, you can actually meet kids who are like maybe 20 years old. Yeah, I play pen, or I played it during a workshop, or, whoa, okay,
Yeah.
pretty active in the region for that.
Yeah. Okay then. So you started on tenor.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you ventured out to any other pans?
I could say that I really enjoy playing the guitar pan, double guitar.
Okay.
That for me,
Okay.
if it's a pan of choice, it would be the double guitar because I mean,
Really?
well, because tenor is
Traitor.
great.
No.
Tenor is because I don't know how to explain it. It's like when you don't choose yourself, when you don't choose your pan,
Yeah.
it's a different story. So I didn't really choose the tenor. My uncle said, "Play it." Okay. And
Right.
that was it. And then I kind of gravitated towards the guitar pan because I like the idea that you can also play the melody and to accompany that at the same time. And
Right.
there's something about it that I just,
Okay.
mesmerizing.
Okay. All right then. I think this interview is done because no. I'm kidding.
Which one do you play? Which one do you
I
play?
play the tenor.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. But I also play like guitar, double second, cello, four pan. So
Okay.
I'm everywhere.
All right.
I'm I'm
Respect.
I'm,
Respect. Yeah.
I'm trying to get to the bases. Trying to get to the sixth base. I'm trying. Oh my goodness. So let's talk about the French panorama.
Hmm.
Let's get into the nitty-gritty.
Let's get into nitty gritty.
How did it come about? Why did you decide to do the French panorama?
Why? Well, just as the questions you were asking before, people really didn't know that French people played pan, except for the French
Mm,
people that actually went to Trinidad to play in panorama.
right.
A lot of French people go to London also to play in panorama, and in other places, New York and Miami.
Mm,
And it was right during the pandemic, really, just in May 2020. Around that time, I started calling people and saying, "Look, we got to do something. We got to do something. I don't know what, but we got to do something." So it was
right.
just people just talking, just talking. And I was like, "Yeah, but I really have to push it somehow,
Mm,
to get people together on this." And I had no idea where it was going to go, but that's
right.
how it started. So, okay, let's have meetings every month and see if we can come up with something. And that's how the idea came about. But I think it's something that people always had in mind that they wanted to do in the last 30
Hmm.
years. But it's a big thing to get these kinds of things together.
Right.
Hmm.
So I'm trying to. How many bands are actually in France? Is it like all the bands that we saw? Is that pretty much all the bands in France, or is there more that just
More or
didn't get a
less.
chance
I
to?
think I
Okay.
some I think that some bands were created for the event itself.
Oh, okay.
So I would say maybe, yeah, it's about 17, 18. There could be more, but some people couldn't
Yeah.
participate this time.
Okay. So do you
Hmm.
plan when the world decides to open up, do you
Yeah.
plan on doing it outside instead of online? Are you planning on doing it both? Do you have bigger
For the
plans for French Panorama is what I'm asking.
the real live panorama in
Yeah.
person kind of thing.
Yeah.
It would be great to do it. Hopefully, the
Mhm.
situation will be, right for that moment in the future. That's something
Yeah.
we're always looking forward to. For the moment, I think it's going to be online until things are, to a situation where it's safe for everyone. But
Right.
then again, it's another type of organization. I mean,
Yeah.
the event is one thing, but bringing everyone to one place to sleep
Yeah.
one night, I mean, because it was
Yeah.
300 players, it was a lot of people,
Right.
you know,
Right.
and yeah, that would be a huge, huge organization, but the future holds that answer.
Yeah, for sure. So with your band that I played earlier,
Yeah, thank you for that, by the way.
you're
Kudos.
welcome. You're welcome. How long have you been with that band? How long have they been in France?
Mhm.
Is it a bunch of friends? Is it just a bunch of people that just love Pan and thought they'd come together and make a group?
Okay, so yeah,
A lot of
well,
questions, sorry.
no, 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 no problem, no problem. Well, actually, the group has been around for 25 years. This year, it will be 25 years that Calypse
Okay.
Atlantique has existed. And it was a person named of Mokhtar El Mokhtai, who comes from Morocco, who started this group.
Oh,
And
okay.
he learned how to play pan, in Trinidad. with the Tokyo All Stars band,
Mm-hmm.
and he started. I mean, he was going door to door asking people for money to start the association, to
Oh,
get it
wow.
all going and everything. And
Yeah.
the story there is something else. And so I've been with them for about 15 years. I would say maybe a little bit less. Yeah, about 15 years, because I was in another group before then. And
Right.
I've been with them ever since, you know. And the way they started was really a group of friends that said, okay, I believe in your project, let's do it. But
Yeah.
it's funny because some of them were from the punk scene in Nantes at the
Right.
time.
That's funny.
You know, pick up, and they got together to do it. They didn't know how to play pan. You know, they started to make the instruments and everything. I mean, they started from nothing, really.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So have you guys been able to travel around France or outside of France at all, or is it just been, yeah,
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, we have a truck,
nice?
truck on the road, then we got a truck
Yeah.
on the road. You know, makes that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, per year, I think there were some points that we had so many concerts that we had to not take so many concerts because every
Mm-hmm.
weekend people were gone somewhere.
Oh, wow.
But now, you know, things have calmed down, you know, because we
Right.
do have lives.
Yeah.
And of course, with the situation today, everything's completely changed. But
Yeah.
yeah, all the carnivals, lots of carnivals in France per year. I would say more than maybe 25 concerts per year in the beginning, and then up until recently. So now it's, you know, calmed down a lot, but because, you know, there's other bands that do things too,
Right.
so we have to, you know, share the love, you know. Everybody shares
Yeah.
the
No,
love.
100%. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. You mentioned Carnival. Is Pan kind of highlighted during your carnival, or is it kind of a
Uh,
separate entity,
it's
or you
a
guys have your
it's
own?
Yeah, well, we've done different carnivals. The
Okay.
one in Nantes, for example, is very, very French. People
Right.
observe. They don't really participate so much in it. They just come to watch what's there, and you know, as
Yeah.
when you go to other cities that have carnivals, completely different. You know, I mean, some people are really partying and like all over the place and things like
Hmm.
that. So the identity of Pan, I wouldn't say is very strong for that during the carnival in Nantes, for
Okay.
example. But
Yeah.
it's not the carnival that we're thinking of from Trinidad, for example. You know,
Right.
it's really something traditional. You have the floats. It's something you see on the boulevard, maybe like a large
Okay.
parade kind of thing,
Right.
except the roads aren't
Yeah.
that big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So do
Mhm.
you guys have a Caribbean carnival in France or
Caribbean
any party?
carnival, not so much. Not so much.
Oh,
No,
okay.
not really. I mean, there's actually a
Interesting.
very large Caribbean population in France because, you know, France is a
Yeah.
melting pot of its own. And
Yeah.
maybe that's something that should be created eventually.
Yeah.
Another idea.
Yeah, might as well. And then stick your band in there and then other bands will follow and then it'll happen.
Yeah. Who knows? Everything is open for, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, could be good.
Wow. Yeah. So you have trying to remember. Did you guys travel outside of France or no?
Yes.
Yes? How was that for you guys?
Traveling outside of France. I'm trying
Then
to.
where did you go?
Well, actually, Calypso Atlantique was part of. There was a European panorama that was in Trinidad. I forget what year it was, and Calypso Atlantique was 13th place.
Okay.
I wasn't there
Okay.
at that time. I wasn't part of the band at that time.
Right.
And but for everyone who went, I mean, we still see the pictures. It was an experience
Yeah.
that they'll never forget because it was just so gigantic, you know, to be savannah. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You
Right?
can't beat that
Yeah.
feeling, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, that was probably the biggest trip that we've ever done with this group.
Yeah.
Mm.
Right. Well, I'm pretty sure more will come.
Yeah. I hope
Yeah.
so.
It will. It will. It will. Um, I was just gonna ask, where do you see Pan in the future in France, or where would you like to see it?
Um, I'd like to see it develop more, like we said, in schools,
Hmm.
things like that, because I think, you know, kids really need music is very important, you know, for learning. It doesn't even
Yeah.
matter what instrument it is. But the pen is so versatile when it comes to teaching kids. They learn
Hmm.
so fast. You know, they
Yeah.
learn really, really fast. I mean,
Yeah.
you can take any beginner group and you can do 2 or 3 songs, and it resonates with people. It's like, wow, and you can feel the power of it. So I think that
Yeah.
alone can be, I'd love to say the word contagious in a good way.
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
100%. Yeah.
and more people would, and I guess by doing the panorama itself, people got to see that there were different types of music. It's not just one style
Soca.
or genre of music. I mean,
Yeah.
from jazz to, and then for a lot of people, it's the first time they actually seen it that way.
Right.
Mm.
Right. So would you and a group of people, would you like to push it more in schools
Yeah,
or make it, yeah,
yeah. Oh, yeah,
yeah,
definitely, definitely. I mean, because I know here in Nantu, we have the idea also to go more into schools that are even smaller, to maybe give classes and things like that. So that's
yeah,
already on the books, and
nice.
trying to get
Yeah, I was gonna
that.
ask about, yeah, I was gonna ask if you guys have done like workshops throughout the years and
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
just get, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Definitely continue. Yeah, we continue to do that. I was about to speak in French.
It's okay.
I just, oui, on a fait ça
All
en
good.
français.
Uh, that's funny.
Yeah, but yeah, and I know that in other places in France, they do a lot of workshops also, and it's
Okay.
good for the younger people to join and to learn about this. A lot of people are like waving at the same time. I see all the names that are going up on the screen.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Hello, everyone.
that's the plan. That's the plan.
Yeah. Nice, nice. Um, I don't know if anyone has any questions. If you do, you're more than welcome to put it in the bubble there. Um, with you and Pan,
Hmm.
we're just gonna go back to you.
Okay.
Have you thought of become a soloist, or is Pan, I'm gonna go in you and broader,
Okay.
is Pan seen as a business in France, or is it still like a community thing where we all just get together once a week and practice and
It's for me, speaking for myself, from what I observe, it seems more of a community kind of thing. Of course, you
hmm
have bands that, are professional, bands, but for us, it's, as I say, an association in France is something for the community, to
right.
say, I'm going to join this and learn how to play this instrument. We're going to have concerts, and then once a year, kind of like an open house and things like
Oh,
that. So it's really, yeah, yeah.
okay.
Mm-mm.
So as an association, it's very there's a high turnover, is what you're saying. Like people will come in
Not
and
necessarily.
not
Not like,
necessarily.
usually when
Okay.
people come, they come and stay.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Which is really nice. But it's
Yeah.
not seen as a business. No, no, it's not seen as a
Mm.
business.
Would you like it to get to that point at one in the near future, or is it right now? It's just we have it. Let's have fun with it and see where it goes on its own.
Well, we can see where it goes on its own, because being a
Yeah.
business is another thing.
It's
It's
another entity.
another.
Yeah.
I mean, even for the players, that means you have a different status.
hmm
It's a whole different thing. I mean, there are groups who are professional, who are
Yeah.
who are doing it. They're
Yeah.
smaller, but they're doing it. And I wouldn't take anything away from that, because they deserve what they do. But
Yeah.
yeah, the idea of an association is to include everyone. So yeah, yeah, that's the main highlight for the moment.
Yeah, for sure. Um, I've always wondered this. Do you guys have pan tuners in France? Or
Yes,
do you
of
guys?
course,
Yes.
yes.
Okay. Yay.
Yay!
Yay. So is it difficult to get a tuner? Because I don't know how many you have for per
There's not that
band.
many. There's about, it's
Oh,
not
okay.
per band. It's maybe 3 or 4 people who knew how to do this in France.
Oh,
And
wow.
then some people come over from England sometimes. Yeah, and even Belgium. Yeah, so but we have, yeah, there's some good tuners that are here and actually know how to make pans. In Paris, they make their pans. In Lille, outside of
Okay.
Lille, they make their own pans. Yeah, so it's really the tradition. I mean, they learned in
Yeah.
Trinidad, and
Yeah.
they just continue it. They just continue that tradition.
Oh, that's awesome. So
Mhm.
hopefully you will learn how to tune a pan so you
That would
can,
be cool. That would be cool.
yeah.
Yeah, that really would be cool.
You should. You should just follow one day and just kind of see where it's at, so that way
See
you can
where it's
tune your
at.
own pan, tune your pans, your band's pans,
Your
and
band's fan. Yeah, so we already have that
yeah.
in the, the idea of some of
Oh, that's good.
the artistic directors to go and learn how to do that so they can
Hmm.
understand it even better, to learn how to do
Yeah,
that. So, yeah,
that's good.
it's definitely
That's
something
good.
that's already in
Already
the
in the works.
works.
Good. Do you have, like I said, I'm gonna keep this short because I know it's late and I don't want to keep you too long.
It's okay. I'm
Um, you're okay. All right. So do you have any plans in the future for French Panorama?
well, every
Do you
year.
want
Just do it
every
every
year?
year. Every
Just do
year.
it every year?
Every
Do
year.
you plan on do you plan on doing a soloist one with bands, or is it just gonna be bands?
I think
Are
for
you
the
gonna do like
moment,
a showcase?
I think bands are good for the moment, and we'll
Yeah.
go from there. Yeah, I mean, if there's anything else, it might be in between. Maybe something at half the year, maybe some other kind of a showcase. I don't know yet. I mean, this is
Yeah.
just, it's an adventure. I'm learning as I'm going
Yeah, no.
along. I
Yeah,
have
for
no
sure.
idea. I have no
Yeah.
idea. So, I'll leave that up to experience and what creativity comes up at the last minute. Say, oh,
Yeah.
we can do that. Why don't we do that? That'd be nice.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Um, I I have so many questions. I'm just
Go
trying to
ahead.
filter through them.
Just okay. Just shoot.
Just
Go ahead. I'm here.
just
I'm
shoot
here.
them, just shoot them, just shoot them.
Mhm.
Is there anything else you want us to know about you or your band or the reason why you did French Panorama? I know you kind of mentioned it earlier, but for those that just kind
And
of
just
tuned in a
joined.
little late,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, yeah, it was really for the visibility of Pan, that people know that French people play Pan very, very well, also very, very well in a different way. Like some people say,
Hmm.
put a different spice in the pot. And yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed what they saw for the French Panorama, because
Yes.
whew, uh, it'll be a little bit different next year. But as a first, you have to start somewhere and you go from there.
Hmm.
And because it was really an extraordinary experience to watch everyone before it was online, before it was live online. It
Right.
was uh, just speechless, because considering what everyone's been going through at this time as musicians, not being able to play so hard, so hard.
Hmm.
And just to see 300 people playing in different places in the same countries, like, wow, okay,
Yeah.
okay, we love this. This is why we're doing this,
Yeah. Sure.
And I, from what people have said, the feedback that I've been getting, people were really happy to see something like that, because it was completely different. No one had no idea what they were going to see.
Yeah.
That's for
Yeah.
sure. And
Yeah.
but that's the magic of Panorama, in a sense.
Hmm.
You don't really know what to expect. And
Yeah.
so it was, like a nice present.
Yeah, for sure. I was gonna ask you about the judges and what they were looking
Mm,
for.
mm.
So, how did you pick your judges, and what were they looking for each band?
Yeah. So I had help with finding the judges, because I wasn't sure how to contact them in the beginning, and once we got in contact with them, realizing there was a time constraint, I should say, because
Hmm.
when they were contacted, we didn't have all the films, because there were so many. There was like curfews, there was
Mm,
lockdowns, there was quarantines and things. So it was
right.
very complicated. So we
Yeah.
said, look, we don't have a criteria, because we did everything backwards, basically,
Okay.
because the most important thing was that people were going to play again together, and they hadn't played together in a year, you
Yeah.
know. And so we decided, okay, we picked two songs that people have already played, but they have to play them again, but really work on them for that short period of time, because it's really short.
Yeah.
And so we said, look, just judge according to what you like, and give us feedback on what we can improve on.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's it.
Yeah.
We want to improve, and
Yeah.
everyone, even the top groups that have won. Yeah, we all have something to improve on. And I think that in a lot of panoramas, that's what most of the musicians ask for. Okay, it's great to be number one, two, and three, but at the same time, you
But
want to, up your game. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So, and yeah, that was the most important thing out of it. And yeah, I think most of them understood that.
That's good. That's good. I know you had Duvon Stewart as one of your judges, I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Who are the other two? I don't
Okay, so
remember.
we had Andy Narell,
Right. Yeah.
yeah, Andy
Yeah.
Narell, Andre White,
Nice.
Michelle Huggins Watts,
Okay.
Rudy Smith, and Laurent Lazinier. And it was really important to
Okay.
have him too because it's his dad who
Yeah.
brought the music, and Laurent is like this huge, jazz man, pan man.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we had everyone there, and it was really really great to have them because it was different ways of looking at music at the same time,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah.
And since we wanted to have some type of credibility, it was good to start with them and to get their advice on things, and so yeah, so they were
That's
very
good. You had
kind
a lot
enough to
of
do that for us. Really,
yeah, you had a lot of heavy hitters and celebrities in the pan world, so
yeah,
that's amazing.
yeah, yeah, really. For the
Especially to get
first
their
one,
feedback.
really, I mean, the feedback
Yeah.
was, yeah, we're gonna take that. And we're gonna work with it.
Hmm.
We're gonna work with it.
Because if you don't, I know a few of them are gonna knock on your door.
Yeah,
I know a few of them. They will come and find you.
yeah.
Just be like,
We'll find
excuse
you.
me.
Didn't we say?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. Do you think you do like an adult and a kids panorama? Just to kind of separate them, or are you gonna?
I know. Well, it's to be seen. I don't know because
Yeah.
there was a tiny bit discussion about that in the beginning, and since everybody wants to be inclusive and then there's no ageism and all that, there's
Yeah.
a whole thing. We're in a whole
Yeah.
different kind of environment now. To separate people now would be really strange to do.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. I don't know. I can't
Right.
confirm anything about that yet,
Yeah.
but I did like the idea that I mean there was a band that had the grandparents with the grandkids playing in the
Yeah.
beginning, and I was like,
Yeah, I
whoa,
saw that. Yeah.
they were so
Yeah.
serious.
Yeah. It was good to see though. It was good to
Yes,
see.
yes,
Yeah.
so counts. They were so proud. They were so proud to play.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's
Yeah.
it's beautiful to see.
Yeah, for sure. I saw you had a group from Guadalupe.
Yes, yeah, Guadalupe, yeah.
How did I didn't even know there was a band there? How did
Well,
that come about?
there are in the French Islands. They have all the French Islands, in territories. There are bands that play pan. Yeah, we're expecting one
Yeah.
from Martinique maybe next year. Who knows?
Nice.
I'd like to reach all the other territories. Like La Réunion and Nouvelle-Calédonie or something. I mean,
Yeah.
to reach all of them, at least one group. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yes, Guadeloupe, it was hard. It was hard for them to get
Yeah.
together. Very, very hard.
Yeah.
Very hard.
Well, they pulled through and did their thing
They
because I
did.
was impressed. I was very impressed.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Because I know their backstory. So that was, that was,
Yeah.
we changed the dates to accommodate them so they could,
Oh wow.
contribute and everything because it was really hard for them to get, just to be filmed, just to, practice to get
Oh
together.
wow.
Because like it was like the week or the month before they had curfews where there were riots and stuff going on with fires in the middle of the street and all kinds. I mean, it
Oh
was it
my
was
goodness.
wild. It was wild, and they still
Wow.
did it anyway. It's just
Hmm.
amazing, absolutely amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a
That's
whole story. I wish I could do like a documentary on it.
it needs to be done. It needs to be done because just knowing that I'm more impressed on what they did because
Yeah, it was
that
hard. I mean, there was like one part when it was Yanis Rosette. He called me on the phone and he's
hmm
like, "Okay, we're going to rehearse now, but I want you to say hi to everybody." I'm like, "Okay," So he has his phone and it's in someone's house. That's where their
yeah.
vineyard is like a house. So each person is in each room. One is doing the engine room in one room, and the other people are playing.
What?
And he's walking with the phone. I'm like, "Hi," and they're like, "Hey," and I'm just like.
Oh my goodness.
I had to get off the phone because I started crying because it was just
Yeah.
like, I can't believe this is happening. You
Oh
know,
wow.
it was, yeah, there's all these little stories around it, and everybody's got some kind of experience. It was just,
Hmm.
yeah, and we all lived it together.
to live another day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because we love Pan. Yeah.
Right? Anything, we'll do anything for Pan.
This is true. This is true.
Yeah. So I see we don't have any questions coming in. Is there anything else that you would like to let everyone know what to look out for?
And to look out for, well,
Any?
the next one, the next edition of, oh yes, and
Okay.
also because it's called I didn't explain the title actually. It's the French Panorama, the French Touch. So the French Panorama is really tribute to the panoramas that are done in Trinidad, but done with the French touch. So it's not exactly like the ones from Trinidad, but the French touch, there are two events. One is the panorama that's judged, and the second event is the French touch, which isn't judged. It's kind of like our gift to all the listeners where everyone's really relaxed and they play whatever they want to play and how they want to play it. So on the YouTube channel where you find the link for the French Panorama, you also have the French Touch, which was out last Saturday, I think, the Saturday before. And it's a little bit shorter, but you can see everyone is completely relaxed.
That's funny.
It's like, it's slower. It's slower, but it's a different vibe. So we call that the after vibes of the panorama. But it was filmed the same day. And it's worth going back and checking that out too. Really. Yeah. It's really, really nice.
I will I keep seeing it and I'm like, I need to check it out one day, and I just
it's not as long as the panorama. It's about an hour and 14 minutes. You could put it as background music, it's but you have to watch it because I wear costumes and everything. So
okay. I will watch it tonight. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. Like I said, I'm not keeping you long. You need your sleep. Because we talked earlier. You need to catch up on your sleep, madame.
I do need to catch up with it. I will, but this was extraordinary. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to next year. If you have anything coming up, any flyers, just send them my way and I will post them for you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Who knows? There might be some surprises in between time,
Now I'm excited. Now I'm just like, what do you have planned?
I don't know.
You're saying that now because you don't want to say it. I get you. I understand.
No, you can't hold me to that. I have no idea. In this head, there's a lot of people going on.
Got you. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on again. I wish you nothing but the best the rest of this year.
Thank you.
Again,
You too. Thank you for interviewing everyone like this because people wouldn't know.
Right? I bring people together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thank you for that. That energy.
You're welcome.
That's dedication right there. That's great.
I appreciate that. If there's one day that you cannot sleep and I have an open discussion, you're more than welcome to come in.
Okay.
And join the discussion.
Yes. Make some noise.
Yes, you have to. We have to do that.
Okay, well, I'll keep my eyes open for that.
All right. I said if there's a night you can't sleep.
Yeah, no, I can't sleep.
Then do that. Yeah, okay. Then do that. I don't want to keep you up. Because our open discussions, funny enough, they go to like 2-3 hours sometimes.
Yeah, well, it's a good discussion,
Right?
Why not?
Why not? Like I had to cut last week short because it was hitting the 4-hour mark. I'm like, I need to. Yeah, like the discussion was really good last week. I had to cut it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm trying to keep them to a minimum. I'm trying.
Patience and joy.
Exactly. So for those that are joining or watched us tonight, thank you for joining us. We are on every Monday night. Well, for you, Tuesday morning. All my lives are in my Instagram and also on my YouTube channel, All Things Pan. So on that note, I wish you guys a great week, an amazing weekend, and I will see you next Monday. Have a good night, everyone.
Adieu, bonsoir. Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.